Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, I have a very special guest with me today. She is a SCAD graduate and she is also a fashion designer. Please welcome Nelly, the designer. Hello, Nelly. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
so,
Hi.
so I wanted to kind of start off with how did you grow up and also how did you get into fashion? So, if you can talk about your whole story of like where you grew up, how you grew up, and how did you get into fashion?
I grew up in South Florida, Broward County. Um, I'm of Haitian descent, so I was living with, two Haitian parents.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, and I always was around artistic people. I feel like my family is very artistic, very into the arts, whether it be singing, whether it be painting, whether
Mhm.
it be fashion.
Mhm.
No one in particular in my family has turned out to be a fashion designer. My grandmother, though, she did used to sew, and I used to
Mhm.
watch her make clothes for my mom. And she used to make clothes for me as well. And I was always fascinated with that.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't know I was going to be into fashion though at first. I thought I was going to be, a painter. Um, my mom's brother, who was also my uncle, obviously, he is actually an installation artist.
Mhm.
Um, and I think he's doing well for himself now. But I used to always, he used to always buy me notebooks for Christmas,
Mhm.
pencils for Christmas. Everybody else would buy me dolls,
Mhm.
purses, and like crazy stuff like that. Cause I was a little kid. I wanted to be fabulous.
Mhm.
But he would always buy me the notebooks and the pencils and the paint and stuff like that. So I thought that that's what I was going to do.
Mhm.
But strangely enough, I would only draw clothes. So
Mhm.
like I would sit there, I'd watch my little shows and I'll be like, oh, this outfit's cute. Let me draw that. And that's what I would use the notebook and pencils for.
Mhm.
It wasn't until I went to high school that I was for sure that I wanted to be in the fashion industry.
Mhm.
But I was always around, my parents always encouraged me to follow my dreams.
Mhm.
Um, and anyone who has Caribbean parents who is watching this interview will would probably think that's like amazing because Caribbean parents are like, you need to be a
Mhm.
doctor, you need to be a lawyer, you need to
Right.
be, a nurse. And I was like, no, I'm gonna be a designer. And I thought they would
Mhm.
be a little bit less supportive, but they're not. They're very into what I have going on now. So I'm very grateful.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm happy. So yes.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like my parents like encouraged me to, get into like art and stuff like that. I started getting into art like around like second grade. So I've always had like that interest in art and illustrating. And I got into nails like around like 14 years old. So, and when I told my dad I want to get into it, my dad was like, if you want to do this, be the best at it. So I definitely can relate. Like my parents really motivated me and pushed me to be the person I am today, like just getting into different aspects of art, and just exploring different things. Was there anyone that really pushed you to get into like more of the exploration of fashion? Like, was there anybody like in terms of professors or mentors that really inspired you and pushed you to get to more into fashion?
No. No one around me. I guess I would say my dad. I feel like my dad is very like enthusiastic about everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my parents, they put me in sewing lessons. And even at that point, I didn't know that I wanted to make clothes. I was just like, this is something I've been trying to do. I want to
Mm-hmm.
make my own skirts. And that's kind of like how it started out. Um, I,
Mm-hmm.
I would say my dad. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like my dad is the one that kind of like pushed me to design. He was like, you need to like make this a career. And, anytime he met somebody, he would, you know, connect them to people like, hey, this is my daughter. She does clothes. She's going to be like huge when she grows up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would say my dad. I feel like my dad is very I feel like sometimes he's more passionate about it than me. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say him for sure.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's the same with my dad. So I can relate to that there again. I want to kind of ask you about like who's like your favorite fashion designers that you really looked up to?
Oh my gosh. I used to have so much. Um, at one point it was Shaunelle because my name is Shaunelle
Hmm.
originally, but people call me Nelly like now.
Hmm.
But my full name is Shaunelle
Hmm.
Porcena. So I thought it was Shaunelle, but as I grew up,
Yeah.
I was more interested in other people. Like somebody that used to inspire me a lot was the creative director for Gucci, Alessandro. And he, God, I just thought he was so cool. Um, just the way he took inspiration from like, archaeology and like, just like different things. I just thought it was awesome, especially the way he told stories with all of his collections.
Hmm.
Now I think that somebody that I really enjoy watching work is Mugler. I
Hmm.
love.
Yeah, Mugler. Hmm.
He's so awesome.
Yeah, he
I
makes
love him.
some really good garments.
Yes, he
Mhm.
he really does.
Yeah, especially if you look at fashion shows like from the 90s, you see a lot of his garments and these like, hour-long fashion shows.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
his stuff is like, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. I had a few designers that I was inspired by, like Alexander McQueen. I liked a lot of his work. Um,
Oh,
yeah, and also Moschino, also Versace. I'm inspired by some of their work, and also Libertine, the Blondes. So when you look at like these different designers, you draw so much inspiration from them, and it's so cool to see like everybody's collection is so different, but it has that essence of luxury and opulence.
oh
And
yes, yeah. Yes. Oh my goodness.
yeah, especially
Love
with
that.
Moschino is really really cool. I'm inspired by their work as well. I wanted to ask, pertain to your SCAD experience. Now, can you tell us about your whole SCAD experience, like majoring in fashion? What was like the whole curriculum like? And how did you get into like the SCAD Fashion Show in 2019?
Oh my god. Okay, so when I went to SCAD, it was kind of like I think I was like shook because I
Mhm.
hadn't really had too much experience in sewing. Like anything that I knew about making clothes, it was I guessed or I
Mhm.
watched YouTube videos. So
Mhm.
I didn't really have like a set foundation, but everybody else in class, first of all, I was Black.
Mhm.
And I was the only Black person in all of my classes up until I think junior year. So that was
Mhm.
wild. Um, but everybody else in class, like they had experience, their parents, were already designers or already doing this. So, you know, it was just different. Um, especially when I had to take, the what was it? It was like pattern making 1, 2, and 3. And then my tech
Mhm.
class. It was like difficult for me, but I think that it really uh set the foundation for the way I construct my clothes now.
Mhm.
Um, so I feel like as far as that part is concerned, that was very helpful to me. Um, what else? What was something that was like really crazy about SCAD? I don't know. I feel like it was just like a like difference in culture. Like all of my
Mhm.
teachers were foreign. Uh, just like people that I've never seen before and never met before.
Mhm.
Um, I will say it was a great learning experience. It was very stressful, a lot of pressure, a lot of short deadlines.
Mhm.
And I took art history like 3 times.
Oh,
So I know I just couldn't pass. I couldn't pass.
yeah,
I
you
took it
take like
like
so
three
many art history
times.
classes. It's crazy.
Huh?
I say you take a lot of like art history classes, like especially in your major, and it's kind of like, okay, it's understandable, but why?
Yeah, no, I was very frustrated with that. I ended up passing it, but it took me 3 times. So
Mm.
Ooh, I do not miss that, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
That was such a nightmare, just
Mm-hmm.
trying to get through that class. And I would be so close.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like the final test, I could pass with a C, but then that test just ruins me. I'm a bad test taker. Woo, I'm glad I made it through. But as far as the SCAD Fashion Show was concerned, I didn't even think I was going to get into the fashion show because
Mm-hmm.
I was in Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
I had transferred over to Atlanta for my last year, and they were just ahead. Like I came into class and they had already, gone through like the first part, and I was like just there, and I was like, oh crap! Like
Mm-hmm.
I was playing catch up for like basically the first semester. I was playing catch up.
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled through. I don't even know. I don't even know how I made it in this show. I did not think I was gonna go because when they first dropped the list, I wasn't on the list, and then I received a call from somebody, and I was like, "Who is this?" I was like, "I never seen this phone number in my life." I was like, "Hello," and it was the dean, and he was like, "Shaunelle, I'm so sorry. Like, I made a mistake on the list. You were definitely supposed to be on there." I was like, "Oh my, how did you get my number?" I was like, how did you even know to call me? But he did call me. I was surprised to hear from him. And that's how I got in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like really crazy. I had to go through like all these interviews, and like people are like, oh, how do you feel to be in the show? And I was like, first of all, I didn't even know I was coming. So it was funny. It was an interesting experience. I'm glad I did the show though. It was a proud moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just happy that it happened. I feel like it was a great experience. It was like my first serious show. I feel like I, got a little taste of what it would be like if I did my own fashion show. So
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah, I like how your fashion collection was in the show. I like how it was like very edgy, very chic, but had that, sex appeal to it in a sense. You know what I mean? And looking at the fashion shows, the SCAD fashion shows, because I worked as a dresser all 4 years at the SCAD Fashion Show. And it's really amazing to see like different designers have all these different styles of fashion, and you get so inspired by that. And did you have a chance to get to meet Miss J?
I did not. I did not get a chance to have a conversation. But I did see him at I guess they were doing like a practice run. He was there. I didn't get to talk to him, but I enjoyed watching him work. It was like my first time ever seeing him in person. I was like, oh my God, he's so tall, and like he's saying like, come on, honey, come on. I was like,
yeah, I was like the same way. I was like,
yes,
because when you first see him in person, he's like, wow, he's really tall, like how you said. But he teaches like all the models how to walk and things of that nature. And I actually had a chance to meet Miss J, and he's a really really nice person. He knows a lot about the fashion industry, and he was a judge for America's Next Top Model along with Tyler Banks and Jay Emanuel. So yeah, it's really cool to meet him in person. And plus him taking part in helping out with the fashion show, that was a really cool experience and things of that
it was
nature.
really cool.
So I wanted to ask, like, if someone wants to get into fashion design, like if they want to major in fashion, like, what pieces of advice would you give for someone who wants to major in fashion?
I would say be very open. I don't know if you go to SCAD like me, or if you just go to any fashion school, I would build a personal relationship with one of your professors. I feel like that was like something that really helped me, especially when I was going through my pattern making classes and I was like actually learning the construction of garments. I had a couple of teachers that I built relationships with, and even when I was out of class, I could go to them and say, hey, I don't understand this, or hey, like I want to make this, I don't know how to make it, I'm not that good at manipulating patterns, can you help me? So I would say that, I would say definitely be involved in things outside of school,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not a guarantee that you will get a job like straight out of school. I didn't get a job straight out of school, and I was in the fashion show. Where's my job? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm doing my own thing. I'm very happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just say, try to build a name for yourself outside of, your class. You want people to know what you do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just be involved in, the community. I'm in Atlanta right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, I try to say yes to whatever opportunity comes my way. Of course, I have to be selective because, of my name, my brand. I don't want to, put myself under something that won't represent me well. But I try to say yes to as many things that, that I can. If somebody wants me to be in a fashion show, yes. If they, need a custom piece for an artist or for something, yes. You know what I mean? Just get involved outside of school. Get out, you know, get your foot in the door. You never know what's going to happen after you graduate, after you come out of a mentorship program or whatever the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. And also too, like collaborating with different students too, that helps a lot too. And you learn from different people. And yeah, you're totally right about like stepping outside of school and try to gain those connections, because like how you said, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know what you don't know. So that's very, very great advice. Now I want to get into like your fashion collection. So you have the Nova Star collection, and you also recently did another collection called Denim on Denim. So, what was like your most favorite collection that you've worked with and why, or worked on and why?
Uh, so as of this moment, I only have 3 collections out. The first one was Nova Star, which was like the first time I ever like put a collection together. Um, the DOD collection was mainly it was just something that I wanted to put out because I hadn't uh, done anything else after, since that point. So I was like, I need to like throw something out there. So I did the DOD collection because I had so much denim for like no reason. So I just made a denim collection. But I would say the last collection, which is a continuation of the Nova Star collection, I named it Sirius,
Mm,
which is the largest star in our galaxy currently.
mm,
I would say that is my favorite collection out.
mm.
I mean, I only have 3, but it's the latest one and it's my favorite because I feel like I had more time. I did it on my own time. I was not rushed.
Mm,
So, I mean, all the pieces that I made, I love them. And I feel like a lot more thought went into this one as far as like the design, the construction, and as far as me putting it out there, my campaign and all of that. Just,
mm.
I loved it. Chef's kiss. Emerald took all of my pictures. She is also a SCAD student, and she's also a very talented photographer. So that is definitely my favorite collection so far. I'm working on a resort collection now, and that might be my new favorite one because I am really putting a lot into it.
Mm. Yeah, I like your denim on denim collection, and especially I like the corset piece that you have. It's really, really nice. And I love working with denim. There's so much stuff you can do with them. You can paint on it, you can dye it, you can bleach it and stuff like that. So that's really
Very true.
my favorite. That's really one of my favorite collections. So in terms of the process of a collection, like how do you go about like making a collection? Like what's the whole thought process?
Ne- when I was in school, the thought process was a little bit different. I guess it's the same. I would start off like with gathering, inspiration, whether it be from Pinterest, whether I see something on the street that I like, I take a picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
I start off that way,
Mm-hmm.
just to like get my brain moving, and that's what we did at SCAD as well. Um, I guess the only difference would be they made a sketch first and then we pick out fabric. I just go to the fabric store and I like being surrounded by stuff. If I could feel it, if I could touch it, you know what I mean? See the colors. I'd rather look at the fabric first and then, create sketches from that. But yeah, I'll just gather inspiration images. I'll go like get some samples. Sometimes I just risk it and I buy a whole roll of and then like I'll start experimenting with the fabric, dye it, stitch on it, throw stuff on it, embroider it. And then, after I experiment with stuff like that, then I'll go and, start sketching up stuff, how I imagine it to lay on the body. And then I just start sewing. I just start draping. I start, pinning stuff together. I make a lot of mistakes before I, get the final result. But it's all worth it after a piece is done. It just feels amazing. Like, I can't believe I made that. But that's essentially how the process goes. I kind of just go from, I guess, like an image or a collage of images, and then it's like a trickle down effect. It's a lot of fun. I love the process work. I like documenting things. I love, writing something down. Sometimes, I'll be out and I'm like, who has a piece of paper? So I don't forget my ideas. And I'm like, okay, do you have a pen? I write it down. I put it in my pocket and I look at it when I get back to my office.
And also for your collections, like where do you draw the most inspiration from? Is it animals, different planets? Like where do you draw inspiration from the most when you plan out like your collections also?
Right now, where I gather the most inspiration from is I would say the past. I would say like my designs right now are very futuristic and very like, detail oriented. There's a lot of like buttons and pockets and hardware. As of right now, like my main inspiration is the past, specifically futurism, like from the 70s and the 80s. I just have become obsessed. I'm actually going in a different direction for this next collection that I have coming up. But like, I don't know, I've just been really obsessed with like sci-fi shows, stories that deal with like futurism. I just like to see how people from the past thought that our future was going to be like, if that makes sense. Like people from the 70s, they probably thought we'd have flying cars by now, but we don't. But I just like going back and just seeing how they thought that it would be. And it gives sort of like a vintage feel. But yet just so forward, like it's forward thinking, but from the past. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's really like where I draw my inspiration from currently. And then I just look at, magazines that go, that have different shoots, different concepts done by different people. And sometimes they inspire me, especially if it's related to what I have going on.
So like that kind of reminds me of like your Nova Star Sirius capsule, because that totally reminds me of that futuristic feel, and also like it has like a winter vibe to it to me.
Yeah.
So it's futuristic but has like this winter-esque vibe to it. But yeah, like for me, when I do like my artwork and stuff like that, I'm into like colors, colorful things. Like my artwork is more like eclectic and things of that nature. So I'm into a lot of colors and plus vintage stuff too, especially with my style, like 90s, early 2000s, so it's so cool to draw inspiration from these different eras. And a lot of these eras of, clothing trends and things of that nature are coming back. So it's really cool where you could draw inspiration from. And I wanted to ask this one question because recently you did a post on Instagram. It was pertaining to like, because you said, I did a show. So was it a show that you held, or was it an event that you did a show
It was an event. It was a collective of different artists. There were a few other designers there, but there were also, you know, painters and singers and dancers. It was kind of just like a showcase. And they asked me to be a part of it. And you know, other designers that I know in the city and, you know, other people that I've worked with before, they were also going to be in the show. So I was like, this is like a great opportunity to do something together. So I was happy to do it. It was a really crazy day, but it ended up everything came out fantastic. And it was a really great show. I was really happy with my models. I was happy with the way everything was presented, the people that were there. It was a lot of good energy.